I am Andre Phillips,
Larry Floor.
Jameson Gadowski.
and we are Peak Performance. And today we're going to be getting into gym basics. So we're going to call this Gym 101, and this is going to be our introductory.
So to start things off, first you have to go to the gym, and you can't be scared to go to the gym. Yeah, people are gonna look at you and they might judge, but it doesn't matter when it's on self-improvement. Another important thing is that you need to come into the gym with a plan too. You need to have some sort of idea of what you're doing.
Yeah, you can't just, walk in there and start doing random exercises. You got to know, you know, you got to have a basic plan. You got to know what you want to do, exercises and how to do them and stuff like that. You can't just walk in there.
There's also people that can help you throughout the journey. Like you can ask gym trainers or managers, what to do. You can ask people while they're in their sets, be considerate about that. But you can also ask these people, hey, what are you doing? What does your training program look like? Or what do I do to get started?
So next we're gonna talk about gym etiquette. So there are some rules when you go to the gym. You don't want to be that person to leave a sweaty bench or try and take equipment that someone's already using. You need to make sure they're done with what they're doing to use their equipment and wipe down after yourself.
Yeah, and you want to make sure that you're cleaning up your weights that you're leaving, unracking the weight, putting it back exactly where you got it, stuff like that. It's a public place. You got to respect the rules, and it's a business too. You got to respect the rules and the other people around you.
So moving on to food, you want to be careful about not getting into it too heavy, but your basic nutrition is going to be your lean proteins, your healthy fats, and your, complex carbs. It doesn't need to be anything too difficult, but try and keep these balanced. And there's ratios that can help you track these according to what your program is or what you're trying to do, whether that's build muscle or lose fat. And protein powder is another thing that people use, but it's not a requirement. If you need it to meet your protein goals, you can use it as a supplement, but it's not too big of a deal in the early process, in the early stages.
Definitely. There are also other ways to kind of keep track. There's a lot of different videos and influencers online that'll kind of help you track your nutrition. But when you're getting started in the gym, it's kind of more important that you cut out all the super processed foods with high trans fats and everything like that, and just kind of increase like your proteins and everything like that, just slowly and gradually as you start the gym.
And there's a bunch of apps and stuff like that on the internet you can find where it'll you can set goals and you can set what you want to do and it'll make a diet plan for you and you can track it, and all the convenient stuff. So look out for those.
Moving on to taking care of your body, while you're in the gym, you want to focus on your form and technique. Prioritize this over your weight because you want to limit the injury risk. You want to protect your tendons and ligaments as you're practicing these movements, especially in the early stages. You can do this by again asking people around the gym, hey, what do you do to train? How do you hit these muscle groups? How do I target this? What do I do, to help my chest grow if that's your target muscle? But you want to be safe and definitely focus on getting the form right before you move on to your higher weights.
There are many videos out there off YouTube, TikTok. You can find a whole bunch of different people all showing you the technique. They'll walk you through technique and everything like that. And once you've perfected the technique and you think you can start putting on weight, you can move on to that step. But you don't want to just pack on the weight just because it can cause injury at any time, and it's also not really good to go with such a heavy load your first day.
And you definitely want to prioritize sleep. You want to aim for at least like 7 hours, but like 7 to 9 hours a night is what you're going to be looking for. And you're going to need rest days. Rest days are super important. You can't go in there and hit it hard every, 7 days of the week. The Where true muscle building happens is during recovery. And so that's your sleep, just resting on the couch, whatever like that. And protein is what builds up the muscle, and it needs time to do that.
Another thing you can do before and after your workouts is stretching. And you can also incorporate these in your rest days. Don't think that's not an option. But stretching is an overall great thing to incorporate into your routines. It could be daily because you're stretching your muscles, you're allowing them to loosen up on the days that you're not training them, and let the soreness relief a little bit. And you also want to space out your muscle groups with your training because you allow your muscles to have more time before you're hitting them each day or each week. So definitely incorporate stretching into your routines.
So you also want to create a routine when you're training. You don't want to do the same lifts every single day and target the same muscle groups every single day. You can do many different splits. There's, again, many videos and people out online that'll share what they do, but it's ultimately finding out what is best for you.
Yeah, and the most popular split would be push-pull legs, which is going to be like a 6-day or 5-day a week, depending on how many times you do legs. And push would be the first, and push is going to be your chest and triceps movements, all the movements that you're going to be pushing weight up. And pull would be the second day, and that would be all your back and biceps movements, so all the ones where you're pulling weight. And then legs, which legs is just grouped together, and then you just repeat the cycle.
There's going to be a lot of gym talk about skipping legs. That's a fun thing that's conversated in our community, but we do want to train legs. Quadriceps are important. Your hamstrings are going to correspond to those. Your calves are going to be a little bit more hard to grow, and that'll also be in your community atmosphere too. You'll hear that around, but still hit these muscle groups, space them out in your routines, and just make sure they're incorporated so you can fill out your body proportionally. To conclude this podcast, these are the gym basics. Make sure you're prioritizing your early nutrition, your recovery, your sleep, getting in the gym. Just get in there, get in the atmosphere, get in the community, and talk to people. Thank you for listening. We are Peak Performance. I am Andre Phillips.
Larry Floor.
Jameson Godowski.